it's hard to write unless you're really compelled. And sometimes what compels you is way more serious things. Like, I never feel like, you don't hear a lot of great songs about, like, one's lunch order. Sorry. The things that you don't really understand and cause you pain are usually things that are worth writing about.
I don't like it when artists who are the concept of being an artist is to be very tapped into a deep place. I don't mind talking shit, this or that, whatever, but I don't like it when artists sort of like almost take this Trumpian approach of just making things up.
Trouble is brewing in Tinseltown as two of the best pop acts of the decade appear to go head-to-head in what is promising to be the beef of the century. The apparent beef, which started in May of this year, has seen Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish engage in one of the fiercest chart wars in history. This purported war has seen no middle grounders, as everyone is either Team Swift or Team Eilish, and their background staff has not been left out of the mix either. Recently, Jack Antonoff, producer of Taylor Swift, purportedly joined the fray when he seemingly aimed a few digs at Eilish. This has set the internet on fire, intensifying the said war between the two great pop acts. What did Jack Antonoff say? And how does it affect Billie Eilish and her fandom? I've got all the tea, so stick and stay with me till the very end.
It's hard to write unless you're really compelled. And sometimes what compels you is way more serious things. Like, I never feel like, you don't hear a lot of great songs about, like, one's lunch order. Sorry.
Hey, I'm Kat, and welcome back to Rumor Has It. Jack Antonoff has gotten ears tingling as media houses and entertainment pundits are falling over themselves to decipher his words from a recent interview. In an interview on The Today Show, the songwriter and producer for Taylor Swift allegedly threw a salvo at Billie Eilish when he was asked about his songwriting process. He answered that his songwriting stemmed from emotionally painful experiences rather than mundane subjects. It's hard to write unless you're really compelled, and sometimes what compels you is way more serious things. I never feel like you don't hear a lot of great songs about, like, one's lunch order. So the things you don't really understand and cause you pain are usually things worth writing about. Now, if you missed the shot at Billie Eilish, let me break down Antonoff's words for you. He only wrote songs about solid experiences, not mundane subjects such as eating lunch. And guess who recently released a song titled Lunch? Yeah, Billie Eilish.
I could eat that girl for lunch as she dances on my tongue.
Of course, Billie's song isn't about food as much as it is about her continuous attraction to women, but Antonoff apparently wouldn't care. The music producer and lead singer for the rock band Bleachers feels that songwriting should have strong emotional connections. Now, to be fair, Antonoff has never said his words were directed toward any particular individual, but since when, during a beef, have the proponents owned up to their attacks? Anyways, Antonoff's words have sparked a debate online, with many Billie Eilish fans calling him all sorts of names for his apparent jab at their idol. They feel that he should have stayed away from the Cold War that was brewing between the two pop idols and focused on his band. One fan wrote on X, previously Twitter, Jack Antonoff has become increasingly more annoying as time goes on. He acts holier than thou, in my opinion. However, others came to his defense, presumably Swift fans, who claimed that his remarks were innocent and that Eilish's fans were only bitter because he spoke the truth. One fan wrote, "I'm crying, he doesn't even know anything about the song." And he didn't diss Billie, her dumb fans only attacking him because he's associated with Taylor. Now, for those of you who might be thinking that fans are just making things up and that there's no bad blood between Billie Eilish and Taylor Swift, consider this. Both top acts recently released their latest projects this spring, and the race to the top of the charts is already getting fierce. Taylor Swift released The Tortured Poets Department on April 19th, and the next month, Billie Eilish released Hit Me Hard and Soft. However, the day before Eilish would launch her album, Taylor Swift released not one, not two, but 3 different versions of songs on her album, leading fans to think that the 1989 crooner wanted to sabotage Billie's album.
Taylor Swift is receiving so much backlash, with fans saying that she is trying to intentionally block Billie Eilish from receiving another #1 hit.
Of course, Taylor has all the right in the world to release different versions of her songs as and when she pleases. But when she does that a day before Eilish's album launch, it raises some eyebrows. Soon, rumors started swirling around the internet that Swift's move was to sabotage Eilish's album. They claimed that Swift did it on purpose to punish Eilish for some comment she'd made earlier. Back in March, Eilish launched an unprovoked attack on artists who tried to use vinyl album covers to boost sales. In an interview with Billboard, Eilish claimed that some of the biggest artists in the world used excessive vinyl packaging to boost album sales and climb the charts. Immediately, Taylor Swift fans caught Eilish's drift because their idol was guilty. I mean, she has about 5 million vinyl versions of albums. Taylor's fans, often referred to as Swifties, took to social media to call out Eilish for her laying into their idol. The attacks on Eilish were so intense that they forced her to take to Instagram to clarify what she'd initially said. According to her, she wasn't singling anyone out, and that it was a systemic problem, which she, Eilish, was also guilty of. So, in effect, she wasn't calling only Taylor out, but all other top acts who were guilty of the same. She wrote, "Okay, so it would be so awesome if people would stop putting words into my mouth and actually read what I said in the Billboard article. I wasn't singling anyone out," she continued. "These are industry-wide systemic issues, and when it comes to variants, so many artists release them, including me, which I clearly state in the article." Now, if this isn't a clear shade, then I wonder what is. Eilish purportedly came for Taylor again during a station head session when she took a swipe at artists who held 3-hour concerts. She felt that those shows were too lengthy for any fan and described them as psychotic.
"I'm not doing a 3-hour show. That's literally psychotic. Nobody wants that. You guys don't want that. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want that as a fan. My favorite artist in the world. I'm not trying to hear them for 3 hours."
And in case you missed what she just said, here are her own words. "Doing a 3-hour show. That's literally psychotic. Nobody wants that. You guys don't want that. I don't want that. I don't even want that as a fan. Even my favorite artists, I'm not trying to hear them for 3 hours. That's far too long." Now, how long did Taylor's concert for her Eras tour last? A whole 3.5 hours. Doesn't it look like Billie Eilish has a bone to pick with Taylor Swift? But here's where it all gets interesting. The two top pop acts have been engaged in Billboard chart wars since they released their albums a few months ago. Taylor Swift was the first to release her album, The Tortured Poets Department. Then, a day before Billie Eilish launched her Hit Me Hard and Soft album, Swift released limited editions of her album. Now, as the Billboard tracking week approached, Eilish released a new version of her album, so she could climb up the charts once the tracking week began. Not to be outdone, Taylor Swift dropped a remix of her hit song Fortnite off her album. Also not to be left out of the race at the top of the Billboard charts, Eilish released the remix of her hit song L'amour de ma vie. Taylor Swift then came out swinging, dropping another 3 different limited editions of her album. Ultimately, Taylor won the race at the top, taking the #1 spot on the Billboard slot with over 378,000 albums sold. This meant that Billie's album debuted at #2 on the Billboard charts. So you see why fans of these two great singers would think that they are engaged in a beef. After all, why would they go through the trouble of releasing several projects before and during Billboard tracking week? Of course, we don't expect the artists themselves to claim they're in a war for the top spot on the Billboard Hot 100. They might even meet tomorrow, share pleasantries, and even speak highly of the respect they share for each other. However, we all know that it's probably a PR gimmick designed to give the impression that everything is cool between the two artists, but deep down, there's simmering tension. Taylor isn't a stranger to beefs, as she has a history of feuding with her colleagues, with the most famous being Kanye West. Recently, she came out of a feud with newcomer Olivia Rodrigo, and though the two seem to have smoked the peace pipe, things still appear to be a bit awkward between them. Taylor and Billie's apparent feud doesn't appear to be ending anytime soon, especially now that their backroom staff have joined the fray. Antonoff's comments might seem innocent to a casual observer, but given the recent happenings between the two pop singers, there's more going on than meets the eye. Would Billie's backroom staff also retaliate? Will the singer herself release a few more jabs in the coming months? Time will tell. For now, the race to the top is getting hotter than before, and this is good for their fans, as the artist would serve them nothing but the best to stay on top. But hey, this brings down the curtains in today's video. Now it's your turn. What do you think about all this? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. We love reading your thoughts, and remember to subscribe for the latest on the gossip, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!